Have you ever wanted to switch up your mac and cheese and make it Italian? We're gonna do this with 4 Italian cheeses. We got mozzarella, Parmesan, Fontina, provolone. We got some pancetta we're gonna chop up. First thing we gotta do is grate all the cheeses. We're gonna split the Parmesan in half. We're gonna save half for topping. My grandma used to make this for us. She would bring it over, like a brick of it in aluminum foil, like not even really in the baking dish. So it would just be like, we'd have like this giant cold brick of butter and cheese. We're not just using 4 Italian cheeses just to use 4 Italian cheeses. There's a reason we choose each one of these cheeses, because there's plenty of Italian cheeses we could have went with, right? The reason you choose mozzarella gives you the cheese pull. The provolone, that's gonna give you the flavor, the sharpness. The Fontina, it's very creamy, very smooth. That's gonna make the mac and cheese, you guessed it, creamy. Parmesan is a super salty cheese, so it adds a lot of savoriness, a lot of depth to the mac and cheese. Fontina is the one that makes this Italian mac and cheese not stringy. I've tested this a lot, and this is the cheese that's really changed it, where it's become a creamy, but also you get that beautiful cheese pull. So when you think about the cheeses that you're gonna add to your mac and cheese, whether it is these 4 Italian cheeses or you're gonna do something different, try to think about it from the standpoint of what the cheese is adding, how does it melt, because that's gonna tell you what kind of output, what kind of mac and cheese you're gonna get on the other side of the oven. I do a little bit less of the provolone than the rest of the cheese because it doesn't get creamy, it doesn't get that cheese pull, it doesn't melt like the other 2 cheeses do. I think we got enough cheese here. We're gonna do our pancetta. You can get this at the grocery store, wherever they sell boar's head. Just ask for it cut super thick like this. They usually look at you like you're crazy, but once you go a couple times, they start getting used to it. It's kind of like the Italian bacon, if you will. It's very small. These you can cut into kind of larger chunks. It gives it a little bit more texture to the mac and cheese, which I think is really cool. Any opportunity I get to put pancetta in something, I do. Set that aside. All right, next step, we're gonna take the pancetta, fry it up, and then we'll get going on the mac and cheese. You always fry uncured meats from a cold pan, so as soon as you turn the pan on, you throw the meat in. What this is gonna do is allow the fat to start to render before the meat starts to cook and crisp up. So you get the fat starting to disintegrate, the meat starts to crisp up all at the same time, so you don't end up with like crispy meat with uncooked fat. Once you start to get a little bit of that smokiness from the pancetta, we can mix it up. You see you start getting a little bit of that fond developing in the pan. We're gonna use this to all be part of our roux. Once these like just start getting a little bit crispy, we're gonna take them out because they're gonna cook a little bit more in the oven. I love this tool mainly because it looks so cool, but it makes it so much easier to strain stuff out of here. I'll link it below in the description. We're gonna lower the heat way down. We're gonna leave the oil in the pan from the pancetta. It's gonna give the roux and the cheese a little bit extra flavor. I'm gonna drop this butter in. We're gonna get the butter to start foaming up here. Break it in half. And for a roux, you're always gonna use the same amount of butter you are gonna use flour. So 6 tablespoons of butter, 6 tablespoons of flour. You wanna wait till the butter is done foaming before you add the flour, because all that foam is just the water molecules in the butter, and depending on the type of butter you have, there might be more or less water. Higher quality butter or European butter usually has higher fat content than like some classic butters. We won't name any names. Like the one I'm using is probably on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of how much fat it has versus how much liquid it has. We're gonna slowly whisk in the flour now. You gotta lower this down a little bit more. You wanna do it slowly so you don't get huge clumps. You can start to see it thickening up when I drag this through. You'll see that slow line. That's a good sign that your roux is developing. Once that's completely combined in there, we're gonna throw in our milk. We're gonna carefully whisk this in so that everything mixes together, because you're mixing cold with hot now. Whisk it together really good, and the reason you want to have the pasta getting ready to go here is because once the pasta is ready, you want this cheese to be done this way. You can mix the pasta in with the cheese while it's still hot. All right, with this milk, we're gonna bring it to a quick simmer here. All right, so we're gonna throw the pasta in over here while this is cooking. So we start to see these little bubbles down here. Let me show you. You see that there? We're getting that little tiny simmer. Start adding some of our cheese in. Just gonna do a handful at a time and whisk it in nice and slow. Just keep that cheese moving around. Lower your temperature if you feel like it's getting anywhere near hot, because you don't want to burn anything. So you can kind of see how the cheese is starting to get a little stringy in there. You're gonna see that stringiness. It's totally normal. Try to wait until you have everything combined before you start adding more cheese in, because you don't want the dish to cool off too much while you're doing this. Dude, it's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. We're gonna throw the Parmesan in with it, half of it, and we'll top the rest of it with the rest of the Parmesan. The cheese is all melted. The next thing we're gonna do is add the pasta to the cheese while it's still hot. All right, I'm gonna go strain the pasta. And while the pasta is still hot, you're gonna pour it right in with the cheese. It's okay if there's a little pasta water in there, and we're just gonna combine everything. It's gonna feel like it's not combining, and again, that's one of those things that are just normal after I'm making this for a while. It's like the cheese doesn't want to stick to the pasta yet. Just keep mixing it until it's all mixed together. You can see kind of that cheese pull that I'm talking about here. Like, look at that, that's a beautiful mess. That's it, that's ready. Oh, look at that. Okay. So we're gonna top this here with the breadcrumbs. It's gonna give it that nice crispy topping. And I know, it's like, do we really need to do breadcrumbs? But, you know, if we're going to hell, might as well go in a handbasket, you know what I'm saying? We'll hit it with all these pancettas. All right, last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take this, we're gonna throw it in the oven on 400 for about 20 minutes. All right, we're gonna pull this out of the oven here. Whew. Holy sh**. A little too hot. Okay. Bingo. We got this beautiful mac and cheese. Probably should wait a little bit to cut into it. My hand. Oh, look how creamy that looks. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe below so you can see my future videos. This one is on my blog so you can get the written recipe. It's really easy to make. It takes under an hour. Oh, so hot. I'm gonna hit it with a little parsley, just for a little touch of beauty. And that is a real Italian mac and cheese, crispy pancetta. My website is linked below with the full recipe. This dish is perfect for reheating. It reheats really well in the oven, in the microwave. Either way, microwave is better for obviously single servings and smaller amounts, but if you want to reheat it in the oven, that works great too. Serve this for friends and family, large groups. Guaranteed people are gonna love this one. This is the Always From Scratch channel with Vinny Del Judas. Follow along. We'd love to have you come stay, hang, come eat with us, come make our meals, whatever you gotta do. Always reach out to me if you have any questions. I always answer my email and my Instagram DMs. Yeah, until next time.